Hi, welcome. I just got some lab scans back of my film photos from the beautiful Rocky Mountains in Colorado during the fall time. I'm going to take you through those scans as I review them and show you some of my favorites. During this trip I brought with me 2 rolls of Kodak Gold, and those are the photos I'm going to be showing you today. The very first photo of the day, and that was this one. Now this is just as the sun's rising and hasn't come over the horizon yet. It's very, very dark in that valley, so that's why you see that silhouette. I wasn't able to get any shadow detail out of this at all, but I still really like this because the horizon line was beautiful with all these nice mountains and the trees, as well as just the really nice pink and orange colors that we got that morning. Here's the next shot, which I tried to incorporate a small road that ran through the valley with some cars on it. By the time we hiked up to the top of that ridge, the sun was just coming over the horizon and we were getting some orange light that was sweeping over the mountains. As I looked behind me across the valley, you could see just orange light creating shadows and shaping the mountains really nicely. And that led to this photo, which has some really beautiful orange tones as it shapes those ridges with all their nice shadows. At that point the sun had risen, and so we started walking back down, and once we actually got down there, the light from the sun was getting into the valley by that time. And so the river that ran through that park that we started at, I was actually able to get a photo of that one. So one of the other main things that was in that park was this log cabin looking building that I really liked. I got a couple of photos of that. I walked around it a little bit. At this point we started heading back to the car, and it was there that I spotted this red bush, and this is what led to this photo. After we left that park, we started heading back on that road that you could see from the valley, and we actually got further into a point where there was cliffs on either side, and that's where we stopped and pulled over to the side of the road, and that's where I was able to get these 2 vertical shots. But I think that once I actually got the horizontal shot, that one's actually my favorite. So on the 3rd day of that trip, we actually went up to the Rocky Mountains National Park, and that's where I shot my 2nd roll of Kodak Gold. I took a few photos out of the car window, and here's the first one. So for the next sets of images, we stopped in a parking lot, and I just wandered around that and took a few of those photos, and here are those. As we started on a path to hike up to this waterfall, we came across this kind of interesting looking dead tree that was in the middle of this clearing, and I think it makes for a pretty decent image. A little bit further up the trail I got this one. This one's probably one of my favorites from that entire day. A little bit further up that trail we got to a part in that river where we could see some really colorful trees, and that was the first like real good fall color that we saw in that entire trip. And here's a couple of the images I got from that. If you're enjoying the video so far, then please hit the like button down below. It supports the channel and I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Alright, back to the video. So after that image I didn't really take any photos for a little while, and it was maybe 20-30 minutes of driving later that we got to the next spot. After a few minutes of walking, we came to this lake, and as we went around it, I got to the other side and I saw this shot here. There's a thin layer of ice that was forming on the lake, and so it was supporting this log that was kind of frozen out in the middle of the lake there. I really like the clouds and that little separation where you can see through them to the blue sky for a little part there. So in the parts of that lake that weren't frozen, there was someone who was standing out there fly fishing, which was pretty cool, and it made for this photo, which I think is pretty great. I really like this one. There's a story to tell behind the image. Here's another one of that same fisherman. I got a little bit lower and I got these nice yellow backlit plants that were in the shot here, just in the foreground, trying to throw them out of focus a little bit to really lead up to the middle of the frame. But yeah, I like this shot. So that leads us to the last shot that I got on Kodak Gold on that entire trip. and that's this one. So this is a little bit further up that path, and we came to this lookout point that's constructed and goes out over the lake a little bit. One more thing before you leave, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button down below. It supports the channel and I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Otherwise, that's all I have for you, so good luck with your next photos and have a great day.